Hello, welcome to Scrap Time. My name is Christine, and in this video I'm going to be making a project from the book Little Loom Weaving. I got this book, Little Loom Weaving by Andrea Gomes, and fiber arts is starting to have a comeback and becoming more popular. So this is a cute little book. It starts with your weaving loom and tools, talks about some different tools you need. Then it goes into your yarns, helping choose colors, talking a bit about weaving techniques on the warp, your weaves, gives you some different techniques to try. So there's a lot of good techniques in here. And then once we get past that, we get into the projects. So they start off by how you can make your own loom. And then into different wall hangings. And there's a whole bunch of different projects in here. But this one here, branch weaving, that is the project I'm going to show you today. Because I thought this is something that you don't need a lot of tools to do. But I'll just show you a few of the other projects in here. And then coasters, bracelets, another wall hanging, that one's really pretty. Keychains, a pillow, another wall hanging. So you can see there's a whole variety of projects in here that you could try. And then using a circular loom like an embroidery hoop and a hanging planter. So let's start with the project. So when I went to our park and went looking for branches, and I couldn't find a big one that was that shape. So what I did is I had these two branches, and I just took some twine and tied it down here to form my shape. Then I put on the threads across that I was going to weave on. Now I know there are many mistakes with this project because I am not a professional weaver. I just enjoy doing it. So, but I wanted to still show it to you because I thought this is a good project possibly for kids. If you have a cabin, or summertime activities. It's still holidays here in Ontario. It's still the summer holidays. So I just thought many girls or boys from different age levels could do this project, and it doesn't have to be the perfect finish without looking really cool. So anyway, I'm going to show you how it's done. I did manage to get this tiny little branch that was this shape, so that's what I'm going to use for my demo. Now I have this this thread or that here that I had gotten with another weaving kit. So I decided I was going to use that. So to start, you just want to wrap it a couple times around your branch and then try and pick it up. You're going to tie a knot. Now, if you don't have any special thread like this, you can use yarn that you're going to weave with. You can use twine if you have, like even baker's twine could be cool. So I'm just going to, I want it to come down. Sometimes when you're working with smaller things, it can be more difficult than when you're working with a larger one. So you just want to do a double knot. To hold it. So now I'm going to start putting it around my branch. So you want to go pretty straight, and I'm going to loop it like that and then move up to the other side. Now the trick here is you want it to be fairly even distance between. You want it to be tight, but you don't want to be pulling the branches together. So you can see I'm just looping it around. I like to use my finger to sort of hold it in place. And I'm going about a centimeter, half an inch apart. And you don't have to go all the way up your branch. I think I'm going to, because of the ending there, I'm going to end here. So you can see this is going to be a very small one. So I'm going to loop it a couple times. And then I'm going to snip my yarn and then tie it off. And I'm going to give it one more knot. Okay, and then I'm just going to snip the ends a bit. Those are later going to be put into the project. So you can see I don't have a very big loom here. I only have a few rows, but it will give you the idea of the project. So now we want to start weaving. So I have this yarn here. This is a FairIsle yarn called Nantucket that I'm going to be using, and it's one of those sort of ombre type yarns. I cut off about a yard or that. Now you can use different things for weaving if you have an actual weaving needle, but this is, you can buy from a yarn store. And you can see it has this big end, and that's what I liked because I knew I was doing a small project. I wanted a smaller needle, but that big end allows me to put my yarn through there really easily. So I think I'm going to start on this side. So I'm going to go under, over, under, over, under, over. You get the idea. I'm just doing a basic. Okay, so I went under, over, under, over, under. Okay. I'm doing a basic weave here. Oh, when you pull your yarn, make sure it doesn't come out of your needle. I'm not going to be doing anything fancy on this. It's just your basic weaving. And you want to leave a bit of a tail that you can tie off later. Now, because I did have some weaving stuff, I have a little weaving comb to push it down. But you could probably even just use a comb from a drugstore. So coming back is a little easier because I can just go like this through there. And you're doing the opposite. And again, you don't want to pull too hard because you don't want this thread to get pulled. So I'm just going to do that. Then I'm going to go back. And when I go back, I want to make sure that I'm catching this bottom thread. So you do the opposite of what you just did there. Okay, and then I'm going to go back, and going back is that much easier. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in another yarn now since this is so small. So I'm going to just, excuse me, I'm going to just leave that because I'm going to use this yarn up this side, but down the middle I want to do something else. So I'm going to introduce this yarn, which is another FairIsle Liberty yarn, and it is a bit of a thicker yarn. So I just need to find the end of this. Of course, I won't be able to. So what I'm going to do, because I lost my end, is because I'm not using this for knitting or anything, I'm just going to cut off a piece. You shouldn't do this because now I've got a big piece that will suddenly come to an end. But because I'm just using little pieces at a time, I'm fine. Now this project too would be great if you had yarn scraps left over because you need just a little bit of yarn to do it. You don't need to buy piles of yarn necessarily. Okay, so I've introduced my new color and I'm just going to do the opposite of my last weave. Like this. And I'm going to leave a tail that I can tie later. Now when I did my other one, I'm just going to show you, I tied the pieces together as I went and then continued on. But because this one's so small and I'm going to continue using that yarn, I'm not tying them together at this point. I'll just put them, weave them into my project after. And then back. Okay, so it's the exact same stitch, just a different color thread. So I'm going to do a few more really fast, and then we'll continue on with the other color. Okay, so I ran out of thread there, or yarn, so that's all I'm going to do. So I have these ends here that I can actually tie together and then just I'll weave them in later to my project. So I'm just going to double knot them. So now I can carry on with this thread I had before. And I'm going to put it through the back a bit here. And maybe I'll so that was there. Have to go under this one. Okay, so here I sort of went over top of two of them because that one was sort of ending. So what I'm going to do is go over this one, under this one. Okay, and I sort of got back into the weaving there. So now I'm going to again just continue weaving in and out to fill in this space. So I'm at the end of my thread here, so I think I'm going to stop. I'm just going to even move these things over a little bit more, my yarn. I can bring this down to the back. And then all I need to do is tie off my ribbon, my yarn, and just this is tied here. Oh, I ended up with the big loop, but that's okay. I can just cut it and then weave it through. Like, I'll show you an example. You just need to put your thread through here, or your yarn, and then just pick a couple loops and put it through like that. And that's what I'll do with the ends. And then these I'll do the same thing, just sort of work them into the back. And in the end, you've got your finished little project. So it's really cute, easy to do. You don't need a lot of materials. You can go out, find some branches, get some spare little wool you have lying around, and it's a fun project to work on. And that's just one of the projects in this cute little book, Little Loom Weaving. So check it out. Thanks for watching. Be sure to give our video a thumbs up and subscribe to Scrap Time videos on YouTube. In the meantime, here are a couple other videos you might be interested in watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.